Hello to everybody. Okay, it's been a while. I hope you enjoy your academic break. Okay, so we are going to continue with our last lesson for chapter 2, which is we have a lot of topics under this lesson. Lesson 5, we have perpetuity, capitalized cost, amortization, and uniform arithmetic gradient. Arithmetic gradient. So we need your mastery of the previous topic, which is annuities. This is actually a continuation of annuities. These topics. Okay. So let's start with perpetuity. So what is a perpetuity? Perpetuity is a security that pays for an infinite amount of time. In finance, perpetuity is a constant stream. It's a constant stream, so it's a continuous flow of identical, just like annuities, same identical payments for each year or period. So constant stream cash flows with no end. So and no end from the word perpetual or perpetuity, perpetual. No? So it's infinite. No? The formula to calculate the present value of perpetuity or security with perpetual cash flows is as follows. So we are going to follow the same formula we have used in annuities. Okay. It's just that n here is infinite or infinity. So if that is infinite or infinity, our formula or equation would reduce to p if we are going to compute for the present worth of infinite annuities or infinite cash flow, identical cash flows. So in this case, we are computing for the present worth. No? So the present worth of that infinite cash flow is equal to A, the annual, or the periodic payment, equal payments divided by I. So I don't know if that is clear. Let me zoom in. Yeah, I hope that is clear. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, so that's it. That's how we that's what perpetuity means. Okay, so very simple. To compute for the present worth of an infinite annual or periodic payments, this identical payments, that would be equal to A, the payments, divided by the interest rate, which is I in this case. Let's try to solve a problem that would somehow tell us how to apply this concept in reality. Okay, first problem, our illustrative problem for this particular topic. I think we only have one problem for this, enough not to understand the concept. So what amount of money invested today, so present, at 15% interest, so I is 15, that can provide the following scholarship. So the investment is for scholarship purposes. So for the first 6 years, so at the end of each year, for 6 years, so for 6 years, at the end of each year, makaka-receive ka ng 30,000 pesos. Okay. And then 40,000 pesos for the next 6 years. So after 6 years, diba? After 6 years, may 30,000 ka ma-receive at the end of each year. And then the following 6 years, at the end of each year again, you will receive 40,000 pesos. And then you will have 50,000 pesos thereafter. So the succeeding years, you will have 50,000 pesos. So what would be the amount of money I would invest now so that I will be receiving these amounts of money for the identified number of years or periods? Okay, so the interest is 15%. Okay, so how are we going to do this? So we have let's try to identify muna the formulas which will be needed in the computation of the present worth of all of these things. So since we have for the first 6 here, so hindi pa to perpetuity so parang annuity pa lang ito. Okay, so for the first 6 years, makaka-receive ako ng 30,000 pesos, which means I am going to compute now the present worth of this annuity, for 6 years. So basically, since I'm computing for the present worth, I will be using this formula. The present worth of the annuity, yung 6 years na ito muna i-solve natin. So okay, to be equal to yung annuity natin at 30,000 at the end of each year. So 1 plus I raised to n minus 1 divided by I times the quantity 1 plus I raised to n. So I'm going to compute the present worth of these annual payments or receivables. Okay, annual ito. Using this formula. No. So since immediately after mag-invest mo, you will be receiving this amount. So at the end of each year for 6 years. Next, ito. So after 6 years, after ng 6 years, another 6 years, you will receive 40,000 at the end of each year. So I'm going to use yung formula natin to solve. So I'm going to solve now the present worth of this 40,000 annual na receivables ko. Okay, yun yung nare-receive ko from the scholarship na from the initial investment. So 40,000 for 6 years yan. So for 6 years. So I am again going to solve for the present worth of this annuity. So, ang focal point natin would be the present. So ang gagawin natin, ang formula natin is, P is equal to yung annuity natin. Since I'm solving for the present worth, similar lang siya dito. So ang focal point natin is the 6th year. Ito kasi nag-start yung 40,000 on the 7th year. Ito. So for 6 years, 30,000 siya. So at the end of the 7th year, I will be receiving 40,000 na. For another 6 years of 40,000. So what I'm going to do is, yung 40,000 na to, annual payments natin, annual receivables natin na 40,000. Kunin ko yung worth niya on the 6th year and then i-transfer ko ulit yan on the present year or present time. Okay, we have learned this before, no? I know you know how to transfer, okay, yung mga value or worth ng mga perang ito, yung mga amounts. Okay, so for the so what I'm going to use is the formula natin 1 plus I raised to n minus 1 divided by I 1 plus I raised to n. Now, since ito yung annual receivables or payment ko from the investor or from the investment, so ang focal point natin is on the 6th year. Ito kasi 7th year na ito, no? So ito transfer ko siya on the 6th year and then from the 6th year to the present time. So may factor tayo dito na 1 plus I raised to negative m. Para ma-transfer natin yung amount na to papunta sa present day or present time. So ang m natin yan is 6. In this case, n is also equal to 6 since 6 years naman yung period na to. Okay, n here is also equal to 6 since 6 years ito. Okay, so we're good. Another formula, of course, is after 12 years, no? So sa first 6 year, makaka-receive ng 30,000, and then the following 6 years, you receive 40,000, and then thereafter, makaka-receive ka na ng 50,000 pesos. So since that means thereafter infinite na yon. So we're going to use our formula for perpetuity, which is equal to A over I. So 50,000 ang annual natin, annual payment. Okay, so next na substitute natin yung mga values sa formula. So present worth lahat to. So since ang tinatanong naman is yung investment natin today, no, to receive these amounts later on. Okay, so the present worth now is equal to, so let's use this, ito muna, compute natin yung present worth ng mga ito. So we have 30,000 times 1 plus ang interest rate natin is 15%. raised to 6, since 6 years yan, minus 1 divided by, so 0.15 times 1 plus 0.15 raised to 6. Okay, so ito na yung present worth ng 30,000 annual payments for 6 years. Plus, ito, present worth naman ng 40,000. So we have 40,000. We're going to use this formula. So we have 1 plus I is 0.15 raised to 6. Minus 1, I'm sorry. I natin is 0.15 times 1 plus 0.15 raised to 6. Now, we're going to, since ang focal point natin is on the 6th year, so from that 6th year, transfer natin today, this period, at this time. So we're going to multiply it by itong factor na ito. So 1 plus 0.15 times, so since 6 years yun, we have negative 6. Then plus yung perpetuity natin, that is A, which we have 50,000, divided by yung I natin is, ano yung I natin? I'm sorry, that's just, hindi pala kita doon. Erase ko na lang dito. Hindi siya nakikita dito. Okay, so let's continue dito sa baba. So plus yung perpetuity natin. So again, ang focal point natin, since nag-start na tong perpetuity on the 13th year, so i-transfer natin, kunin natin yung value ng 50,000 yearly, i-convert natin sa, i-compute natin yung worth niya on the 12th year. So remember, nag-start yung 50,000 on the 13th year na. So for the first 6 year, may 30,000. Okay. And then for the next 6 years, we have 40,000. So that is 12 years. So on the 13th year, the end of the 13th year, nakareceive siya ng 50,000. And then on the 14th year, 50,000 and so on. So perpetuity yun. So which means we're going to compute for the worth of this perpetuity on the 12th year. Which means we're going to multiply ito, yung formula natin na A over I, multiply natin ng factor na ito. That is 1 plus I raised to negative M. Ang M natin dito would be, since 12 year yun, negative or 12 yung kwan natin dito. So M natin is 12. Okay? So we have A, which is 50,000. Divided by I, which is 0.15 or 15%. Times yung factor natin to transfer yung value natin on the present period, since on the 12th year ito. So we have 1 plus 0.15 times negative 12. So that's it. I hope that is clear. So the present value or the present worth of all of these things, yung initial investment natin para makareceive tayo ng mga ganong amount ng pera. Okay, para sa scholarship, we have 241,282.316. So this would be our answer for this particular problem. Okay, so I hope that is clear.